John, what you're saying here essentially is that the Biden administration is now a victim of its own attempt to play identity politics back in 2020 by saying we're going to select a black woman, but they wound up with somebody who, wound up being about the worst choice that they could get, who is now protecting them, or essentially, protecting Joe Biden from any Democrat challenges, but also is now the one that's causing all these problems because nobody wants to see her be the president next.
Wow, James, did I say it that way? I
Well,
didn't
I don't know.
quite
You
put
tell
it
me.
that way.
But I'm wondering, is that the
No.
case?
Well, it is the case. I think you could make the case that it was a mistake putting Kamala on. I never quite understood it because, going back to that famous first Democratic debate, she violated a lot of rules. She went after, a popular former vice president and icon, and she brought out the race card at the same time. And, arguably the reason why she was put on the ticket was not because she could carry a state, she was going to get California anyway, but arguably because she checked a number of identity boxes. Yeah. So in that sense, I mean, you're really right. But since that time, once becoming vice president, she's been relatively invisible in terms of the White House, in terms of policy, in terms of being assigned an important task and succeeding at that task. And let's just call it what it is. It was a mistake. But how do you admit that you made a mistake? George H.W. Bush had Dan Quayle uh, 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 going into a second term, and we had the similar debate back then. Dan Quayle becoming somewhat of the butt of jokes, but George H.W. Bush knowing, hey, look, I can't go to voters and say I made a mistake the first time, and so the voters were able to ignore Dan Quayle to a great degree. But in this instance, you really can't ignore Kamala Harris because of the age issue. And so, in order for Biden to effectively deal with this age issue, he's going to have to, put forward somebody who actually can be president of the United States.